Hello and welcome to Idle Thoughts. This is our sister podcast from the main Brainwaves podcast where Jamie, Sam and I kick back in Brainwaves headquarters and just chat about what we've been playing in the previous month. Jamie, what have you been up to?
I've been very, very busy indeed. I have got my hands on a copy of Root, but I will not give my thoughts about that right yet. I won't give my thoughts about that right now because I've only played one game and I want to play a bit more to get a full woodland package, as it were.
I'd give that a play sometime as well, definitely.
I'll be up for that.
I'm happy to play it with you, gentlemen. But I'm going to say what I played just recently.
Imagine if you said, I wouldn't be happy. No.
Yeah, I know. I'd just
I would be
a
up for that,
horrible person.
Jamie. No.
I hate to break it to you guys, and especially this way. No. I have been playing A2 recently from Adam Kaluuya. My pronunciations are all over the place. And Rebel Games, who recently have recently been bought by Asmodee. K2 is a game about the second highest mountain in the world, called, funnily enough, K2. It is also the second deadliest, also known as the Savage Mountain. For every 4 who reach the summit of K2, 1 is dead. And this is the setting for a board game, where you and up to 4 other people are acting as teams of 2 climbers, and over a period of 18 days you are scaling the snowy heights of K2. You do this through card play with a mixture of movement points, moving up and down the mountain, and also acclimatization cards, as you're managing your climbers' acclimatization to the various heights of the mountain and the changing weather conditions. The designer is also a professional mountaineer, so he's drawing on his examples of the game as well. And it is a race game of sorts, but it's not whoever's first to the top. It's whoever gets the most points and is able to keep both their climbers alive over the 18-day period. I took this down.
I've played it a few times.
What do you think about it, Sam?
Yeah. No, I've really liked it. I've only played it with you, but I think a handful of times, 2 or 3 times. It's nice. It is nice. Only the base game. I know that there's been some expansions come out. I don't know if you.
There are several expansions. There is Broad Peak, I believe, which it's an extra board. There is a small micro expansion called the Avalanche, which changes some of its weather tiles. And there is a new version, or a new board or so, coming out called Lotzi or something like that, which is some new boards, and I'm very interested as well because I really like the game. But the reason I'm talking about it is I took it down to Yorkshire to my aunt and uncle's over the Christmas period, and my uncle is a mountaineer, and I got him, my female cousin and my male cousin and his wife playing the game with me. So we got a 5-player game, which I've actually never had played before. And we played. I explained it to them. Everyone was like, oh, I'm not too sure. Okay. We sat around. We started playing. And at the end, my uncle won the game. And I went, fantastic.
What a lad.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then the next day, I was speaking to my cousin, and she said, he doesn't play a lot of games. And it takes a lot to make him play a game. And also, it takes a lot for him to enjoy a game that he's played. And he really enjoyed the game. And so I'm feeling quite happy about that I managed to introduce him to something new that is in his wheelhouse and he really enjoyed. I love the game.
I haven't played K2 myself, but I really liked it.
Iain, you're more than welcome to come and share in the bounty of the games. It is a fun game. It is also a savage game. Because there are only certain number of climbers allowed on every space, depending on the player count. So you might want to go one way and you find out the person before you has blocked you. Sam, you pain, I was going to go up that way. But then also you realise that this climber, his acclimatization level is too low. But bearing in mind that today, anyone over 7,000 meters is going to lose extra acclimatization because it's really snowy. Also where he is going to lose some, but can he put down a tent? What's going to happen? Oh, he's going to die. I've got to drop him down, but that's going to mean he's going to have to fight his way back up. And the stress is great fun.
I think Jamie likes K2.
I'm getting that impression. He seems to be very passionate, and that's great. I always like when people are really get into a game and really passionate about the emotions. It's more than anything. That's why we play games.
I think I'm very passionate about it in as much as I understand the emotions that are coming out of it and the emotions that people are feeling as they play it. It does also help that I do very much enjoy this game.
Good.
Yeah, want to play when we get together next.
What have you been up to, Ian?
Well, I have been playing basically no board games over December, unfortunately. Just haven't really had a chance to break anything out. But I did pick up a new computer game on the Epic Store, which is sort of Unreal's new store, and they had Subnautica for free. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that because I think it's absolutely fantastic. What?
Are you talking
What?
about? Are you talking about a video game on a board game podcast?
Well, it's just about the games we play. That's what we say we talk about each month. And I happen to be playing Subnautica.
No, I'm all right. On you go, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
On you go,
Heresy.
mate.
Yeah, Subnautica. So, Subnautica is a survival game, which is the sort of game I usually bounce off quite hard. Like, I just don't really get into the sort of whole crafting, survival-y kind of thing. But basically, you are on a ship orbiting a planet which gets shot down by something. You are ejected in a little escape pod and crash land into this planet, bobbing around in an ocean. It's basically a massive ocean planet. And your ship then subsequently blows up and crashes near you, this big sort of massive ship, and you are basically told by the AI on board to survive until help comes. And it's a really interesting game. It's a beautiful game. Absolutely, like, graphics are really nice. You dive below the waves, and there's all these sort of little weird sort of fish and creatures moving around you and like wandering around. And yeah, some of them are dinner, and some of them want you to be dinner. But effectively, it's got this really interesting push and pull between sort of terror and exploration.
Okay.
Because effectively what happens is, as the game goes on, you fix your initial little pod up, and then you learn how to make other stuff, and eventually you can sort of make bases and that kind of thing out of all the materials and things around you. And as you go around, you scan life forms and materials and all sorts, and learn to do new stuff. And also, as the game progresses, a story starts to emerge. I don't want to be too specific, because you should play Subnautica with as little spoilers as possible. But effectively, what the story does is pull you further and further away from your comfort zone. So you start basically in the shallows of this world, like a sort of nice beachy sandy area with lots of sort of little alien angelfish and that kind of thing wandering about, and a couple of dangers, but nothing too big. And then as the story progresses, you're pulled further and deeper and darker.
Okay.
And the new biomes that you go into, they refer to each of their sort of areas as a biome, are beautiful, but also absolutely goddamn terrifying, because there are new noises down there, and you don't know what those noises are.
That's very cool.
So you sort of like go down. You start only being able to go a certain depth because of your oxygen limit, and then you build bigger oxygen tanks. That kind of thing. Eventually you get equipment and vehicles that you can go even deeper. And as you go deeper, you can't. The vehicles are interestingly constructed, so you can't quite see as much around you.
That's
so
nice.
You hear a giant sort of roar behind you, and you're just like, nope, I'm just going to leave. Bye. Leave. Run away.
Ian, there's always a bigger fish.
There is always a bigger fish, and some of the fish in this ocean are very, very big. Very big. But yeah, effectively, like, you have to go into those areas, so you have to sort of overcome your terror. And I saw the lead designer calling it's been called a horror game by some people, but he calls it more like a terror game. It's not quite the same thing. It's not like slasher horror kind of stuff. It's just that fear of the unknown, but then the sort of overcoming that is the sort of beauty of those areas and what you discover in them. And it's just a fantastic little game that I played easily a sort of day and a half's worth of play over feeling I felt a bit ill over Christmas. And it was just the perfect game to sort of bliss out to and build little things and like sort of swim around in. And yeah, just a fantastic little game. They've got a new expansion out called Sub-Zero, which is early access, much like Subnautica was. Subnautica is now finished. This one's going into early access, so it's only the start of the game. But basically, you're going back to the planet. Someone new is coming to the planet, but going to the Arctic zone. So it's a whole sort of new area of the world to explore. I'm really excited to play that, but I'm going to wait until it's out of early access, because I love the sort of story elements pulling you out, and
you'd like to play that kind of finished, completed.
Yeah, I don't want to half play it and then have to come back to it once that bit's in there.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's really good. I really recommend Subnautica to people, and it's a very generous game as well. So like, you're not having to like eat and drink like you do in survival games a lot, like every 5 seconds. You can like fill yourself up for like a good bit of time of play before having to think about that again. And yeah, you can build fantastic bases and all sorts. And the storyline's okay. It's pretty interesting, but the main thing about it is that it's pulling you out and deeper into new and interesting areas to see new cool things. And yeah, it's lovely. I'll show you some. If you're never going to play it, I'll show you some pictures sometime, guys. So
Cool.
you could take a bunch of in-game
I'd
pictures.
like to, but I think it's just getting a PC that's powerful enough to run it, and also just finding the time. And I say that as someone who is quite a lazy person in several regards.
I'm a bit with Ian. Haven't played a whole bunch of stuff. Video game wise, I've been playing quite a lot of stuff on the Switch, but might talk about that at another day. Over Christmas,
I really want to play.
There's some good stuff on there.
I tell you what I did do actually recently. I got back to playing some Smash Brothers.
Me too, man.
Cool, right.
Okay.
Okay,
Couch Smash Brothers.
Let's get some
and
Smash
that was
Bros.
just
chat.
fantastic.
I'm going to throw aside what I was going to talk about. Let's talk about the Switch.
Let's Smash Bros.
I haven't played games on a couch with people just shouting obscenities at each other for ages, and it was such good fun to do that.
Where
again.
I'm working, I'm working with children, and recently one of the staff members bought a Wii U secondhand for the club, and he bought Mario Kart, couple of Lego games, Splatoon, and Smash Brothers. And so far, we've had a pretty even split of kids playing Mario Kart 8 and Smash Brothers on Wii U. And I don't know who's having more fun, I'll be honest. The kids or me and about 3 or 4 other members of staff.
Smash Brothers is great. Really good game.
It was good fun. Played a fair amount of that over Christmas. I've also played a stupid amount of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's my perfect game. Video game wise, I'm not keen on really long experiences. That's, I think, really why I'm going towards kind of board gaming and things, because genuinely, at the longer stretch of things, you're talking about 3 hours and done. Sometimes it can be much longer than that, but rarely really, usually though, you're talking about like sitting down for an hour and it being done at the end. No more continuing, and that's why I like tabletop gaming. When it comes to video games, very rarely will I put loads of hours into something.
No, I'm the same. I don't really like the big sort of AAA experiences.
When it came out, I put about 60 hours into Breath of the Wild, really enjoyed it. Got a Switch halfway through last year. Just before Christmas, picked up Breath of the Wild again. Have put a bit more time into that, and it's a very nice game. But Mario Kart 8 is the perfect thing for me, because you're talking...
I do like a bit of Mario Kart. I
love
the
it
perfect
so
Mario
much.
Kart was Double Dash. Did you ever play Double Dash?
Oh yeah,
on GameCube?
I didn't.
That was my first proper Mario Kart.
Double Dash is brilliant. You could 2 people to a kart, Sam, and one of them doing weapons and sort of like leaning into corners, and the other one driving. It was totally fantastic. With the right setup, you could play. I think you could play 16 people on one GameCube.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Or something ridiculous.
No, you could play 8 people on a GameCube.
That's crazy cool.
They never got the 16, sadly.
Fair enough.
Having good fun on Mario Kart. Love Mario Kart. But kind of feeding into that, haven't been playing a whole lot of board games, sadly. And something people have been talking about recently online is this kind of 5x5, 6x6, 10x10, whatever numbers you want really, challenge of choosing X amount of games in your collection and playing them X amount of times.
Yeah.
And that's something I really feel we've talked about quite a lot, is how often do you play games in your collection? Are they getting table space? And as we've all really done over the past few weeks and months, have a serious think about our collection and just sell off the stuff we don't play. If it's not being played by us, sell it on to someone who is going to play it, and is going to give it the time it deserves. So something me and my partner have done, we said, okay, yeah, let's do this 5x5 challenge thing. So our games that we put down, that we just... Some of them are, we just want to kind of get a good play time out of them before moving on and moving them on to other people. So we've said we'd like to play a bit more Small World. We both really like Small World.
Isn't that one of your favourite games?
World more. It is, but I've also got the Small World Realms box.
That's not me going. That's not me going. It's your favourite game, so of course you're going to say that. I'm going. I just remember you mentioning it, and I know you have a lot of Small World.
I've got the Small World Realms box, which is an expansion that gives you a bit more different play styles. And that's a box that I haven't really delved into much, so I really want to get more stuff from there played. We picked up My Little Scythe last year, and we've only played about twice, and that was really good fun, and we just want to play that more.
I'd like to try that. I haven't played that yet.
Come over and we'll play it. It'll be really good. Something you love, Ian, that we want to play more of is Civilization: A New Dawn.
Great game.
Yeah, we've played it once or twice, and we got that when it came out, so we're talking like a year ago I bought that.
Yeah, my first impressions of that game is up on the site as well.
And it was really good, and we haven't played it since. We don't know why. We want to play it more. Going on
I
from
would
what
really
we
like
said,
to see an expansion for Civ, like a little box expansion, just more cards.
I reckon it will
more-
come out, surely.
I hope so, because
They did it with their old Civ game.
Yeah, if they could do that, that game would be absolutely perfect. Just a little bit more variety, and that game would be
And also, it's
pinpoint
in
perfect.
theme for Civ as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
To bring out an
absolutely.
expansion for it, and I'm sure they will. They brought out an expansion for like XCOM and things, so I can totally see them doing a little Civ expansion. Imperial Assault is on there. We want to play a bit more of Imperial Assault because we're thinking of moving it on. Frankly, we want to finish what we've got. And then obviously this Lord of the Rings game's coming out, and we think that'll pretty much just replace it. So we want to kind of wrap up what we've got of Imperial Assault, pass it on to someone else, and then get stuck into a very similar but different experience, essentially. And then finally on that list, one of my choices was Star Wars Rebellion. It's something that I really liked, big 2-player game. We're talking about a 4-hour experience, 2 to 4 hour experience. I really like it because
give that a shot. I haven't played it yet.
It's good fun. It's got its problems, don't get me wrong. And there's some
Combat, isn't it, mainly?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's just one of those things that doesn't want to go down the risk combat element. So it's like, okay, so we're going to do our own thing that isn't just risk. And at the end of the day, you leave the table thinking, why didn't they just do risk combat? Because it would have worked just a bit better. Combat's a bit clunky and not great, but the game as a whole, I really do enjoy. Just want to play it more. So that's our kind of little, let's play some more games, because we haven't played enough.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to set myself a challenge like that this year, but one of the things that the BG Stats app tracks is called the H index, and that is basically how many games have you played that many times. And so if your H index goes to 2, you've played at least 2 of the games twice. If it goes to 3, you've played at least 3 games 3 times, and so on and so forth. So it kind of keeps track of that kind of thing for you. I think I got to like 6 or 7 last year, so I played like a decent number, like a few games, like a good 6 or 7 times. I think Role Player was amongst that. That'll probably come out again this year. Role Player's fantastic. I know you guys aren't quite as keen on it, but I love it.
Oh no, I thought it was fine.
I like it enough.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I'm possibly done with it in a way. I think I've seen as much as I want to see with it. Had a good time. But yeah, it's
enough.
not 100% for me.
There's another expansion coming out for that this year, coming into Kickstarter. I might pick that up, actually.
I'd like to probably, just looking at my shelves, I'm not doing an official 5x5 challenge or anything like that, but just looking at things going, what I'd kind of like to see more off my shelves. I'd like to play a bit more Dinosaur Island.
Yeah, I want to try that.
I got the expansion for it, and I'm sitting there going, I'm kind of happy I backed this, because hopefully it's going to fix some issues I had with it, that there seemed to be no point in getting small carnivores, because large carnivores were just better points-wise in general. But it's the table space and the time. The Dragon and Flagon from Stronghold Games, I'd like to get more of a go of that, but again, it's a game that you need people who are in the right headspace, and it's basically 5 or more players that kind of makes it more enjoyable, because otherwise it's just a bit barren. Off the top of my head, yeah, there's a couple of games that those are the kind of the 2 I'd like to maybe get more of a chance at.
It's a good idea to sort of like set yourself those kind of challenges. I've seen a few sort of critics and other people around the board gaming sphere talk about having a depth here, where rather than buying lots of new stuff, they sort of go into the stuff they already have in a more intense way. So also play the games they've got more, read the vast pile of books they've got that are unread, watch the films in their collection, that kind of thing, rather than seeking out brand new stuff, sort of diving into that. And in a way, like reducing your collection kind of forces you to do that anyway, because you only have certain games to play anyway.
There is this growing trend of the pile of shame.
Yeah, I mean, I try to have basically 0 pile of shame.
The games, the pile of shame in which the games that you haven't played yet, and it's a pile of shame, and I could do the pile of shame, but I've got this game that I've been playing ages, and I really like, it's more Terraforming Mars. I like to play some more Terraforming Mars. That's fine, but
I'm not one for getting a new game and not playing it. I know
if
that's. I think that's also very common amongst like miniatures gamers as well, to just buy new releases and never open them or never paint them or build them or whatever. And
I remember talking to some Games Workshop employee, or an old Games Workshop employee, and they estimated, I think, something like maybe like 50 to 60% of purchases are never basically opened.
yeah, it's crazy.
Which is just
For the resale market.
astounding.
Yeah. Like, I think the only things that I've really bought board game wise that I haven't got around to playing are Arkham Horror packs, to be honest.
Yeah.
But usually, if I buy a game, I play it that night or the next day or very close to buying it, because it's a new experience that I want to try out and get down to, and that kind of goes to the top of the list of things to play.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically this is basically our December cast. I'll be talking about a bit more about Arkham again in January, because I'm back playing that. I've got a regular group again, so I am back in the Forgotten Age, and I picked up Circle Undone today, and I'm very, very excited by that. It looks good.
I'd like to say that I think I have a slightly, I don't want to say the words pile of shame, but it's stuff that I really should be getting off the shelves. Sekigahara I've played once.
I'd like to play. Yeah, I like to play Sekigahara.
I'd like to give it a go.
I loved Sekigahara.
In fact, you know what we should do, guys? We should wrap this cast up and arrange a date to go and play games.
That sounds pretty good. Let's do it.
Cool. Well,
Boom.
Look after yourself, everyone.
thank you very much for listening, everyone. You are all our lovely patrons. Thank you so much for the money you give us every month. It really helps the cast and website get paid for. And we hope to keep entertaining you in the future, and we are looking forward to whatever this year brings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys.
Look after yourself, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.